Welcome back, everyone, to some more farming sim. We are going to attempt to combine that canola. It might be a bit of a pain, but I think we can probably manage it. I think my sound is on. Hang on. Nope, sound is off. We're ahead of the game. Yeah. Where the hell were we? I know it's canola field. Start the tractor, let the tractor warm up, start the truck. Let the truck warm up. And this is canola, right? It is canola. Holy crap, we actually remember which field we're on. And likewise, I am going to be the first one to do the outside rounds. Oh, I remember what I was doing now. I just did my little pathway here. So I'll offload. We have a little staging area, you could say. It's a good sized field, so I'm kind of excited by this. This is going to be should be a fairly decent paying field. At least I hope so. Don't really know until we get into it. Chewing through the field in one horse open sleigh. And it's a long field too. Well, actually it's the same length as what this one was. But we're going to try to do our 2 rounds at least. It's not near as wide. Like, it isn't as big a field, but it's still a decent size. Heck, I'll hire the guy to do the straight line thing. That, and I also want to check out, since we're still doing it and all, we have a bunch of these that are getting close to puberty, so we're going to have a pile more chickens to haul to the butcher. These guys, on the other hand, the puberty is only 62. We are ways away from producing more sheepish. Same as chickens on these ones. The roosters are full, but I ain't doing my roosters. Contract-wise, this canola field is basically it. I'm not seeing a massive field here. Oh, there's the smug prick. Guarantee he's gonna screw you. Oh, he's there too. Every third or fourth one he is. Actually, on the plus side, he's mostly off. Nope. Never mind, he's there. I gotta seriously work on my beer production and stuff too. But we'll have all sorts of time to do that afterwards. And I still am contemplating getting an actual cultivator, because we're using a is it a power harrow? No, it isn't. It's not a power harrow. It's not a roller either. The heck is it? Oh, disc harrow. Using a disc harrow, and I actually would like a cultivator. I could just go with a Borgo. It's a 12 meter. That's a 14 meter. I mean, the 14 meter, the Verstead, is actually it's a bigger one, but it's cheaper. I'm good with cheap. Definitely good with cheap. Cheap is good. And then, of course, our actual field here. Let's check that out and see where we're sitting. Yeah, we're just starting. And like I said, I got to cultivate all this. I got to seed 35 to cotton here fairly soon. Next time we are going to have a few fields of cotton by the looks of things that we can maybe get for contract. And we do have our lovely little friend, which I'm hoping to use. we're paying for the leasing cost on it when we probably shouldn't be, but we are. But we can also put whatever is left over. We can actually go towards doing the clothing side and send it all to Bob's Needles in the end. We have not sold any clothes as of yet. There, I fired my guy, hired myself again. Not bad, I made it all the way down the end of the field on one. Well, thankfully I also cheated slightly. Okay. Down at the bottom, here we go. Nearly 80%. He's gonna be pissed. I just did that across his freshly cultivated field. Wait a minute. Didn't I just finish combining that? When did he go frickin' cultivate? I didn't get contract. Yeah, it's cultivated. I did not get a contract for that. Yeah, fine. Field 30 and all of them. I mean, if the guy... I don't know. I feel like I got cheated on that one, but if the guy said, oh, could you plant my field, I'll probably get screwed in the end of on that one too. I can't see the canola field taking as long because it isn't a big field. Well, it is, but it isn't. Oops. Well, it will be if I keep doing that. Slight hiccup, but we're back going at it. We should be fine. There we go. I actually need to raise it up a little bit. Just want to clip the top. Okay, we're full. I actually caught it this time instead of making it to the other end going la 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 la. It's you I need. Luckily enough I can turn around my little staging area. Oops. That's right, I have it set for 10. Alright, just gotta drive down there. And I really also need to do maintenance on my equipment. They're looking kind of peaked in some of them. Wonder if I can plant cotton. Is cotton part of the planter, or is it part of the Borgo cedar line? That'll be the next thing to take a look at, I guess. And again, the only reason why I'm doing the cotton in the first place is because we have the tailor shop and the spinnery. Good if we can get some product to them. Because obviously, if we sold the cotton, it's not bad. We still make profit on it. However, we make a lot more profit with the finished product down the line. So, just the right kind of darkness to piss a guy off. I think it is the planter. Alright. Hop back into the combine. Let's take a look at cedars in general here. Cedars just look like all cereals. I'm not seeing anything that's popping out as No. So it's got to be a planter then. Where, oh, right beside. Yeah, it does cotton. So we'll need one of these or one of these. Almost prefer the John Deere over the Kins, but there's nothing wrong with Kins either. Actually, the Kins, the John Deere's just seed. It doesn't have fertilizer in it. Okay, we'd go with the fertilizer one, obviously, because you'd produce more then. And then we can also do soybean. We can do sugar beet, the other secondary annoying thing. I mean, you can make a lot of money with sugar beet. Don't get me wrong there. You can make a ton of money on potatoes and sugar beet. But they drive me insane. It'd be like doing carrots. Or... no, even peas are just nearly as bad. Okay. Once we get to the corner, we are halfway around the first round. And we've already made our full first dump. And I think this one is the one that we're going to be calling Cargill. All of a sudden, got a gob in my throat. Could be that friggin' kitty litter. We found that out. Apparently, there's a very particular kitty litter out there that Mr. Fuzz apparently is allergic to because he sneezes a lot with it. And I understand perfectly. I had one good whiff of it, and now I got a glob in the back of my throat. I mean, yeah, he's exactly like us. He has the same allergies. Which I don't get. I never used to have allergies. In the last couple of years, I've really been hammered with allergy problems, and I have no idea why. Even Combine dust now bothers me. I think I actually still have the Kleenex here, don't I? Kleenex. Where's my Kleenex? There it is. Let's see if I can blow my nose. I mean, it's better to get it out than it rolling in the back of your friggin' throat. Yeah, I think that's better. I was gonna say, I think I'm halfway down the field. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What am I? Quarter? Looks like it's just right over the bend. No. I'll be full before I make it to that corner. So yeah, I think that one is gonna... That one is... Yeah, Blumengart is what they call it. If I buy that one, I am going to call it Cargill. Well, actually, no, there's another one there. I could call it... there's a few. Cargill's one. I don't know if UGG is still around, which was United Grain Growers. It might still be. But there's also Grains Connect. But Grains Connect usually has rail spur on it. But Cargills are everywhere too. I mean, that's what I would change even Grain Mill to. Grain Mill could be one of the plants. Viterra is another one. Actually, recently in town, the Viterra seed plant was shut down and bulldozed entirely. Like, it's gone. It's not even there. Just one day it was there, next day it's like, it's not completely bulldozed. And what's worse is that one was one of the not so old ones. So we got a few options for names of grain terminals and grain. Well, I guess a grain terminal is the right terminology for it. That we could call things. I wouldn't mind having another one that could be further down here somewhere. But I don't know what we would do with it. Because the other one, like, we've got the grain mill, which basically is a cereal plant. And we've got the main elevator, but there's, I don't know. I still actually kind of want to find a few of the old ones, plus maybe a railway or something, as a selling point. There's a few mods that I would still like to have, but having a couple of those old grain elevators, I think would be kind of neat. Then I would call them Grains Connect, and they do. I don't know if some of the people that are watching that know about them overly well or whatnot, or maybe you do, maybe you sell to them or have you. But from what I've been told, anyways, I've never been there myself. But what I've been told is they're actually a really decent company to deal with, which is a step above considering what most of them were like. There was quite a few of them that were, how do you say it, a bit of pricks. Don't get me wrong, these days you still need a contract to haul, and basically you're given X amount of grain bushels that you can haul to them at a specific time, just because they don't have the capacity for the grain being harvested. And even though they say, oh well, last year didn't have as much, yada yada yada, terminals are still full. I still have a gob in the back of my throat. Maybe I might have got that out. So yeah, I'm not really sure about our lovely institution, you could say, about moving grain. And don't get me wrong, they say we had a drought last year, but we had some pretty amazing crops coming off. And I know the seeding convoy has left my area, so I know where they headed. And they usually start down there anyways. They're late this year, actually. Down where they normally do a lot of, I know the big farm for the cousins, there's still a major frost issue going on down there. Like, they even still have snow compared to us. We don't have any snow. None. It's all gone, but yeah, no. They've still got snow down there. They still have frost. But it's kind of the roll of the dice. Usually you plant first down there because you harvest first, just because their growing season is typically a little bit longer than ours. And when I say a little bit longer, it doesn't sound like much, but an extra 2 weeks makes a huge difference. And yeah, so it's like, yeah, you guys were in the fields the end of March, first part of April last year, and it's still snow and frost down there? Okay. That's not bringing up a whole load of confidence. But at the same time, you can't really complain about anything because we didn't have much for snowpack all year. And all of a sudden in the spring we got lots of moisture. So, I mean, credit is where credit is due. We actually did all right for moisture. How much more we're going to get throughout the year, don't know. We never know. Because, honestly, they don't know. I did empty all of it. I don't think any weather guy nowadays, or even back a few years, ever really knew much about weather. Yeah, you can look at the radar and everything else, and I do all the time too, and you look at the radar instead of telling what the weather guy says, and you're going, that's not what's going to happen. But hey, it's one of the jobs in the world that you can be wrong 100% of the time and still get a raise. That and government. I know a lot of guys go, well, the weather guy says it's going to be a drought this year. I don't know about that. The way it's proceeding already in the spring, I'm questioning it for this area. A lot. I kind of almost feel as if it's going to... I don't think it's going to be a hot year. Like, it won't be as hot as it was 15 years ago, I don't think. And everyone goes, every year it's getting hotter. I remember 15 years ago, specifically 15 years ago, almost to the date of July and August, that we're cracking 40 degrees above. We haven't had 40 degree weather here in a long time. Hell, last year we only had 2 days of plus 30. The rest of it was all in the 20s. So, I mean, everyone goes, well, it was super dry and everything else. It was, but it wasn't. Like, our sloughs still had water in them. There was a few years, about 15 years ago again, that I specifically remember certain sloughs being completely dry. They're full of water. They were last year. It takes a lot of years of drought for them to dry up. Now, is it possible that we're being overpopulated in the area? Yes, that's probably closer to the truth than anything else. Yeah, look at that. We're almost done our first round. So yeah, I don't really know what the weather's going to bring this year. None of us do. Same as previous years. You roll that dice and see what you get. But just the way it's going this year makes me think it's going to be a potentially cooler, wet year. And I know everyone's going to say, what evidence do you have of that? Just from past experience is all I'm going by. Just because of I know when the farmers usually start to when they can get the crops in, everything else. The guys aren't even out in the fields yet pumping sloughs. It's just frozen. Like, yeah, okay, we don't have any snow on the ground. Cool. I can drive anywhere in the middle of that field and know that I'm not going to sink up to the axles. Why? Because it's frozen. Well, as I'm rolling down here, I have the incredible urge to take a bathroom break. So you know what? I'm going to set this guy on cruise control with a helper, and I'm going to go use that bathroom break while I'm in a position to do so. Just because. Oh, that's so much better. Oh look, my grain guy is full. You know, when you have that urge and you just gotta take a leak, it's better to go take a leak than filling your pants and seat and everything else with water. Well, not really water, but you know what I mean. But yeah, thinking about the weather, it's really tough to say what we're going to get. I haven't even heard across the country how guys are doing, like in Saskatchewan or Manitoba. I don't know if they've started yet. I did hear from a guy in northern Manitoba. He's got a cattle farm up there. He says, yeah, they still got 2 feet of snow. And I mean, even around here, we're expected to get snow the next couple days. And you're going, well, it shouldn't stick around very long, but still, it's snow. It's literally still snow. Actually, the one thing that would be really actually quite beneficial right about now would be some rain. Rain would be a really good thing, and I say that because it does a couple things. One, it knocks all the mold down and dust and everything else. But the other big thing that rain does is it pushes the frost out. Which we know now that we kind of need. Like, to me, it's still funny that the 1st of April and you can go anywhere in the fields with any kind of piece of equipment and you're fine because it's frozen. It's a really weird feeling. But yeah, it's dusty and dirty and everything else. I actually don't even, other than the fact that we got our geese back, haven't seen any ducks. Starlings are back. Magpies never went anywhere, but they're doing their nesting thing. Crows are back. I know, I shot one. We haven't seen the ducks yet, and haven't seen any robins. No finches. They're late this year. A few other things the purple martins we won't see quite yet. But there's a lot of birds out there that I haven't seen back. And the other thing that's sort of kind of funky is the end of March we should have started hearing thumping, which is basically a mating ritual for the grouse. Haven't heard any of that yet this year. And we have grows, so not really sure what's going on. The animals know something that we don't. Well, obviously they do. Animals are typically more in tune with weather than we are. But yeah, no, it's gonna be it's definitely a weird year. There's many times that I remember that it was like, okay, the field is ready. It's a little muddy and soupy in places, but the field's ready. Let's get the crop in. April 1st. That's when we started. Do we still have lots of time? Yeah, a lot of guys don't get their crops fully in until May. But I specifically remember 3 individuals in my area that were royally upset by the 1st of the month that they couldn't be in the field seeding. And it was rare that they weren't. And yeah, this year it's still frozen. Like, we're still freezing at night. It was really nice last night. Mind you, it was really nice yesterday in general. It was 22 degrees, and I think even last night when I went outside, it was still like 6 degrees outside or something. Tonight it's supposed to be like -4. That ain't gonna work. There's definitely a few things that are just... I'm starting to get that, like I said before, I'm starting to get that feeling that I don't think it's going to be what they say it's going to be. I know there's a lot of climatologists and nut jobs out there. They're going, this is the hottest year on record. Until it happens, I'm not going to hold my breath. Just isn't worth worrying about it at this point in time. Just carry on what you're doing and hope it works out. But holy crap, it is nuts to think. And who knows how many farmers can afford to put the crops in this year. That's another situation entirely. I've heard from a few people that are really actually kind of worried about the way this pricing has just gone nuts. And the taxes and the fuel and everything else. Not so much the fuel cost, there's something added to the fuel that makes people a little bit leery. Especially if you actually talk to a farmer. If you actually talk to him, you'll realize quickly how little margin of profit there is. Because fertilizer is still nuts this year. Fertilizer is one of the most expensive things. It's even, well, it's way more expensive than your fuel. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is obviously fuel. 3 is what the hell do you plant? Because some people say it's going to be hot and dry. Others say it's going to be the wettest year in years. It could be a mild year, it could be a wet year, it could be dry, it could be freaking hot. What do you do? I know quite a few guys are thinking about putting durum in. Because, of course, if you don't know, durum is actually a very, very hardy cereal. It can handle the hotter, drier temperatures. Typically a little bit better. Now, can you have it burnt? Can you have burned fields because of it? Oh yeah. Number 1 problem that a lot of guys don't realize is they go, okay, well, put the same amount of fertilizer on. You know, if it's a hot, dry year, you can actually burn it from the fertilizer because it doesn't have the moisture to properly dissolve it, and it doesn't actually go into the soil correctly, so it doesn't actually necessarily do much. It is like everything, it's a massive freaking gamble. That's why I like being the guy that just, you know, is the laborer, because I honestly hate to own a farm. Not saying it was any easier for our forefathers, because I can't imagine doing all that. Mind you, 100 years ago, you could make a living on a quarter section. Nowadays, it's kind of touch and go making a living on a section. And I mean, even our old homestead, it was $1.80, mind you. But they had everything from cereal grain to cattle pasture, so they had multiple different kinds of cattle. Well, cattle in general, sheep. They had pigs, they had chickens. They had big gardens. Like, they were basically self-sufficient. They fed themselves, and then whatever was considered a surplus, they sold. So in the end, it actually worked out pretty good. But they could do it on $1.80. Try to do that nowadays. Hell, you can't even sell your garden to people because it's, has that been tested to make sure it's chemically pure? I didn't spray anything. Hell, they don't even want you to sell eggs. Has it had its proper antibiotics and vaccines? No. It ate ants, snakes, frogs, clamshells. And before you go, chickens don't eat clamshells. Yeah, actually they do. And you should feed them clamshells. Why? Because they need the calcium. They're producing eggs, they need the calcium. It helps strengthen the eggs, which in turn is actually better for the animal, or the, well, not really animal. Chicken isn't really an animal. It is a fowl. But it is supposedly, anyways, from what I was always told and raised with, that if you feed a chicken clamshells, because you don't want to feed it eggshells, you want to prevent disease and everything else, you don't feed the animal of the same kind of animal. What you do is you mix clamshells, which are broken down and whatnot. Anyways, and you feed them that, it strengthens their eggs, and it makes it easier for them to lay them. And it makes kind of sense if you think about it. What's easier? A hard implement, or a very soft implement that takes longer to come out? I couldn't imagine giving birth to an egg every day, or 2 or 3, but they do it. So, yeah, that's the way I was raised. So you always feed them clamshells to help the calcium to... supposedly it also helps with their digestive system a bit too. But yeah, no. Chickens are nature's little omnivores. They eat everything. They'll eat you if you're not careful. Actually, they're pretty much exactly identical to a pig. They'll eat everything. They're the pigs of the fowl world. Because I've seen chickens love ants. They peck for days going through that anthill. I've seen them eat a frog. I've seen 3 of them shred and eat a snake. Meanwhile, there's me picking him up and petting him. Once, of course, you catch him, because that's kind of the trick. That it's kind of hard to catch a chicken on the run. And despite everyone saying they can't fly, yeah, they can. Not well and not very high, but they can fly for short distances. But they can. More of a lunging thing. They use their wings to lunge forward a bit. Not that I complain much. Actually, it's kind of enjoyable having chickens, just because of the way they are. Now, of course, I'm also the kind of person that goes, I'm feeling like a chicken tonight. Yoink, snap, cut, done. But that's why you never name your animals. Like, as soon as you name them, they're basically a pet. But if you say, well, so what do you call this one? I call that one chicken. That one's turducken. What do you call your cow? I call them ground beef and steak. So that's ground beef, and that one's steak. How about your pig? Well, that one's pork. And it's either porker or bacon. Yeah. Never had an issue with it over the years. It's like, okay, we know that's food, so. But you also try to give the animal a good life. Like, you don't just raise them for a year and go, okay. You try to wean them down the road a little bit, right? But not so old that it's shoe leather. I missed a little. Of course I missed a little. Have a sip of my drink and it's like, la 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 la, randomly making figures in the field. Hey, we got our second round done. I guess I should probably bugger off with the truck now and get that hauled. We got a full friggin' trailer full there. I'll probably just go back and forth down the fields for the lengthways, which means I should probably, while I think of it, do another round. The truck needs a little bit more. Oops. I turned the wrong way there. Alright, somewhere here is my tractor. There it is. Yeah, so getting ready for the season opener anyways. There's a couple projects that I can work on pretty soon here, which are non-related to the frozen ground, which is great. And actually the one job is right on the edge of a lake. It's a cottage, and it's, even though it's in the spring, I think I'm still going to enjoy it. And it's with great people too. Like, honestly, they are fantastic. And, you know, that's makes my life a lot easier when they're good clients. You're never always sure, but these ones I know, they're really good people. So I'm quite happy to be able to do a job for them. And it's going to potentially end up being a lot more work with them over time, so I'm quite happy over it. Yeah, that's pretty tight over there. I'll go around this way. You know, cut my head off on the edge of the header. I don't know how much more I can actually put in this cart. The other one wouldn't let me do much more. Looks like I can actually put a lot more in. But mind you, it was based on weight. And the weight of this soy... Was it soy? Yes, it was. It was beans. Was a lot heavier. Yeah, basically gravel. So we'll haul this one straight up. I actually had a good conversation with one of my cousins on this one. I said, I asked them, I had to, I said, is there any real major difference between having a Tridem truck, a box truck, with a Tridem pup versus having a Super Bee? And really what his response was quite simple. He says, basically works out to being personal preference. He says, there is no one is better than the other. He says, Super Bees technically should be able to haul more, but depends on what your grain is. And he says, you know, if you're doing belly dumps all the time with Super Bees are great and all, but you are kind of limited in where you can go with them. Whereas tandem or Tridem, he says you got a lot more ground clearance, so you can go places that you shouldn't technically go with the belly dumps. He says belly dumps are for long haul highway, but it also apparently depends on the grain too, which makes it easier. But he says, yeah, really, at the end of the day, it boils down to personal preference. What do you like driving? He says, and especially if you're bad at backing up a Super Bee, these are easier. Less points. Less turning points. And God help you if you ever decide to use an articulating tractor with about 4 or 5 backing up points that drive you nuts. Why does it not look like Blumengart for this one? Because it's not. 3 is there. I don't see 3 as a contract. Oops. Let's see any friggin' contracts. God, I gotta get rid of this smoke guy. I don't like him. It's going to the oil mill. That's probably the entire reason. It's going to the oil mill down here, which should also be the Cargill and crushing plant. We have one of those. Son of a bitch is chasing me. It goes right here. Glad I took a look at that. It's going, exclamation mark, and that point seems to be a little bit on the suspicious side. It seems to be wrong. So how much do we haul out of the first one? 5%, huh? So the back one should be pretty close to the same. It's just a touch smaller, but should be pretty bloody close. We should be actually averaging, I'd say, what, about 9% per load out of this field. Oh, there's an entrance right there. Pull in that one, come out this one. Oh, we're 20% done already. 11%. So pretty close to 9 truckloads, and we should have this one in the bag. So we only have 8 left. That is not bad. I can work with that one. And again, haven't said it in a little while, but I'll say it now. If you are new here, or you've been around for a while and haven't hit that subscribe button, or haven't thought about it, think about hit it. It does actually help us grow. And of course, you can do that with the little Huskar in the bottom right corner of the video. Well, he thinks he's a farmer. But we all know that he's a warrior at heart, not a farmer. He may pretend to be, but he isn't. So, smack some sense into him. Click on him, smack him, hit that subscribe button. It helps. It helps me anyways. Helps me knowingly know that he's been knocked some sense into him. He's a thick skull Viking. He'll be fine. I frickin' love this truck. 1, because it has the shifter. 2, is the ecstasy sound it makes. That is just... that is the sound of sex. And anybody that's driven a real truck will know just that sound. Overshot that one a bit. I love J-brakes. My tractor shut off. Must be time for maintenance. I'm pretty sure the Combine did too. I can do a lot more grain. It's 53% on this one now. The other one was 36. And FYI, I can actually truck again. And I may. I kind of missed it actually. There we go. We have 40,000, so we might as well ignore these being off and just go up and truck another load. Well, that's pretty cool. 2 truckloads right away. We got our second round done. Yeah, overall, that's pretty good. Yeah, and the fact that this one actually has a shifter too in it. You can sort of see it. It's dark in this truck right now, but see, there it is. There we go. Yeah, we were laughing at it. So we're basically saying that most of these trucks are impossible to steal for newer generations. Why? Because they have no idea what a clutch does. It depends on the age of the vehicle too. If they're non-synchro gears, you have to double clutch it. How many people know how to do that? I learned the hard way how to do that. Oddly enough, on a truck that had eaten axles on it. God, I hate eaten axles. I hate the shifting pattern. Not to mention, those things are... They make me want to rip the transmission out and throw it at someone, alright? Oh boy. Yep, did clip him. It's going to take me a while to get back up there because I'm still in the top gear. Is that easier? No. Seems to be struggling a bit. But yeah, no, I really hate eating anything eaten. The axle or the friggin' transmission. It just. And the worst part was, it was a tandem grain truck that I learned on, right? And specifically, it was the kind that had the Eden in it. And it was fucking goofy. So you had 4-3-4. So it had a mid gear range. It had the super low. It had the mid gear, and then it had the high, which you had to flick with the little button there too, right? Which, whatever, that wasn't a problem. But because of the way the tree was set up, it was fucking goofy. So you're driving in a field, and you know fields could be soft. Driving in a field, and you're going, well, am I in first or second? And you shift into what you think, because you're remembering that, okay, it's like a regular, I know the sequence, right? If you do that, and you're going from what you think is second gear into third, really what happens, you go second into fourth, and it stalls the truck. Oh, I did that too many times, because you're thinking about it wrong. You're going, oh yeah, it's just like a normal fucking truck, right? It's got the standard tree, clunk, 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 and away you go. No, it's actually backwards, and you're going, okay, what gear was I in again? Okay, I think I'm in, oh, no, crap, not again. And then the worst part is, because it was a 4-3-4, don't ask me why, it's not like it was 4-4-4, it wasn't a freaking 12 speed, alright? This thing was a 13 geared ratio thing. Actually, it wasn't. It was actually still, because it's hard to explain. It had two reverses. You had granny gear low reverse, and then it had a higher speed reverse, which was fucking scary. Like I said, this truck was, well, it no longer has Eatons in it. It's still around. They still use it sometimes for fertilizer or whatever the hell. But it wasn't a very good truck. I mean, for starting out and what they had and everything else, yeah, it worked. And I may have been directly responsible for the actions that occurred in the demise of that transmission. I mean, not that anyone felt bad. Even my cousin did not feel bad about it. He goes, but we need to do it anyways. Oh, so it wasn't me? Didn't say that. Nothing like that new frickin' International. He does not like me driving his trucks, alright? Yeah, I know, I was pounding the gears hard in that sucker. But the best part is, with those Internationals, even the newer ones, I still double clutch it. Not that you have to. Actually, it's a semi. Not semi. It's a standard tractor, but it's you can put it into automatic mode. I don't like it. I think automatic mode in any kind of semi is fucking stupid. Simply put, because you can manage your gear ratios a lot better manually than what it thinks is the synchronization of it. It's way better to, I find anyways, to know the gears. Because I find they bog down like a son of a bitch going up a hill. And they seem gutless. Whereas if you're actually shifting proper on a standard tree, you know which gear you're in usually, unless it's an Eaton, especially if you're me, and you typically go, okay, well, I'm coming down the highway, 110, coming down the hill. I know I'm going to have to drop a gear going up, but if I plan it right, I shouldn't drop speed at all, right? And it should be around 105 going up. Doesn't matter if fully loaded. So as soon as you see it start dropping, hit that clutch, knock her back a gear, hit the clutch again, and pop her in, and you should be fine. But it's all in the timing. You gotta hit the timing just right, because if you drop the gear too soon, it'll actually sort of slow you down. Not that I go on the highway very often, but sometimes I do. Sometimes you have to cross the river. I'll do the same on the other end too. Do 4 in this one, do 2 rounds total, which we did. I do like these big headers. But like I said, there's a few mods I really want to try to find on here if we can do it or not. And one is just the rail access, and 2 is an old style elevator. Even if it's just maybe not so much a selling point, but as almost like a grain leg or something like that, we could manage that. I'd prefer a selling point. And by that I mean, like, if you guys remember the old UGG or Western, what was it? Because the United Grain Growers, that was the UGG. There was the Alberta Wheat Pool. Of course, I'm from Alberta, so that would make sense. But there was another one. There was also a Western Pool. Was there a WGG and a UGG? I can't remember now. I honestly can't remember. And of course, Cargill. They've been around for a long time. I don't see many of those old elevators anymore. And I mean, they worked for how long? It's just, unfortunately, as time grew on and crops grew, the performance of them grew, the volumes, in turn, unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbled. They weren't big enough. And don't get me wrong, there's some friggin' huge elevators out there. I just think it would be kind of cool to have a couple of them. I mean, it's a Canadian map. Why can't we make it Canadian, more Canadian? I know this one's actually based on a real place, but out of Manitoba. I mean, Manitoba's got some pretty amazing field and farms, too. Oh, even Ontario. Northern Ontario's no different than us. There's some pretty big farms in those areas, too. Well, hey, that worked out pretty good. Oh, and in other news, I was talking to a guy with that does a lot with Warband and Bannerlord mods and things like that, and he actually told me something pretty neat that I want to try sometime. Fortunately, we're now doing the Grand Theft Auto, or Grand Theft Auto 5, which I think what we're going to do is we're going to play that through and finish it as a story mode, and then we may go back to the Bannerlords. But anyways, he said to me that what we could do is, and I didn't know this was possible, but you can go into the the game and the properties of the game through Steam, and you can actually select the beta that you want to run. And he says the newer versions, of course, can't handle 98% of the mods, hence why we're having problems. So his recommendation was quite simple: just find out what the beta version or the patch file that it should be running on, and just run it through. So yeah, I kind of want to go back to try it, because there are some pretty nice mods out there that I really would like to try. And of course, one is the broken up faction of Call Radia, which is what the original series was based on, which we'd still be doing as a Viking lord. But there's also a couple of Viking Conquest maps that are kind of intriguing that I wouldn't mind actually trying. So, like I said, knowing now that there's a possibility that we can go back and it should work and not crash all the time, should be, because it even says the Butter library is the one that's causing the crashes right now, and he says it actually runs stable, it's just not with the version that you're running. That's what it is. So, we're getting closer. I know, it's a very popular series, and I was kind of upset that it wasn't working, because it's one of my favorites as well. We've actually taken a lot of this off tonight. I'm quite happy with that. Oh yeah, look at that. Noise. Very noise. So yeah, there's the possibility Bandit Lord's coming back, but obviously since we started Grand Theft Auto, we'll run through the playthrough on that. And I mean, the possibility too that GTA 6 comes out, we may consider playing that as well. We'll just have to play around and see. But yeah, no, the farming sim is going to be here, staying along for a while. And even this map, I don't plan on refreshing or doing anything like a new season or something like that for quite a while. There's lots to do on here. It takes time to do it, and it's an enjoyable, relaxing experience in my mind. So we're gonna just continue doing it. And there's always new things coming out too, and new mods to try and such like that. So there's always more that we can work on. We've come a long way in a year. Like we've been actually playing this one solid now for a full year, and we've grown quite a bit in that year. But there's still tons more we could do. We're just basically touching the edge of the iceberg. I might have to bring a fuel tanker out here, though. We should is a good word. Should be able to get this field done before we run out of fuel. It's like shoulda, woulda, coulda. There's many different kinds of words that are relative to what we're doing, and you have a 50% chance of it going either way. Well, sweet, we got that one all figured out. we were also discussing this, and not just my cousins and me, stuff like that. I was talking to a few other farmers, and I was asking about this setup, the blower rod, and I said, to me it makes sense, but in a practical for where we are in the world, because it may work for somebody else, but doesn't necessarily for us, would it work? And they went, it's debatable. And the one guy said specifically, and it was the same concept or the same thing that I talked about. It's like, see that big blower on the side? What happens if you're sucking in dirt and dust all the time? It's going to play havoc on that frickin'. It's basically an overglorified turbo, right? And that's how it works. And it's like, how long is that going to last before it clogs up full of shit? And then you're screwed. Because no matter what you do, combining is a very, very dirty business. Very dusty. I could see you blowing that thing apart every field type thing, right? And the other thing is, they're both guys I was talking to go, yeah, and the little tine tubes and everything else, if you don't set your head right, and they're just on the edge of, well, they're still grazing, right? They're still grazing the grain. And depending on it, how long do they last? What is the cost of them? Which is the big thing. That is the third killer of a farmer. Remember how we had this conversation? Where we were going, well, your first number one thing is cost of fertilizer. Number 2 is diesel. Number 3 is maintenance. Number 4, seed. Number 5 down the list is your hired help. Because could you imagine doing what I'm doing now by yourself in real life? That would suck. Not saying it can't be done. I am not saying that. But I am. Because, I mean, could you if you had to? Yes. Should you? No. Despite everything else, farming is also a very dangerous profession. You really gotta have, well, it's not so common these days, but common sense. Now, is there farm accidents where kids get killed because of certain actions and stuff? Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really sucks. Lost one kid at school, and I mean that kid's, he's not a kid now, he's an adult. He accidentally ran over his sister because, well, he was on the tractor helping his dad, and she came out of nowhere and he didn't see her. Which again, how are you supposed to, combine turn off, how are you supposed to see anything? These things have blind spots. Major ones. So, yeah, I know the context, I know how it happened and things like that, and it's unfortunate. And he did have issues with it for quite a few years. I mean, the kid was 7 years old, right? And before everyone says, oh, well, you should keep your 7-year-olds out of tractors and working. You've never been on a farm. Sometimes you don't have that option or luxury to hire somebody else to help out with the job when your kid is right there and you know damn well they can run the equipment. So, let them. But no, that was definitely a hard day. Then, of course, well, it's been a few years from another farm accident that I know of. Farm kid had a bunch of his city friends over, and they decided to go playing in the canola, oddly enough, in the back of a grain truck. Yeah, their friend got pulled in and suffocated in the grain. That one was a pretty hard one to hear about too. So it's not like that doesn't happen. It does. You just gotta. Well, that one, that's kind of, I would classify that as bad parenting, because you should have told your kids not to go playing in the grain. As fun as it is, don't do it. That's one job I always hated doing, was getting in bins and cleaning them. Had to do it a few times, but that job sucks. And same thing, you can see how quickly things could turn wrong with especially canola. Well, actually any grain. But canola is greasy too. And it doesn't take much. All of a sudden you're gone, you're sunk. There's like no buoyancy of it. You just go. Yeah, you can see where it could go wrong. But we don't have to worry about that anymore. It's all automated. Up until the point when it isn't. Overall, though, getting off the subject of the perils and demise, I do enjoy playing with the equipment. I say playing, it's still hard work. I haven't even seen the new tractors. I know he got 6 of them, I believe. And I know that they drove down to the other farm. Never even got to see him. I kicked myself. I should have been over there. I could have been playing in new tractors that they're the size of a house. Cost as much too. I have no idea what he's leasing them for, so don't even ask. I have honestly no idea. Too much. I know my little tractor's worth about, or the little tractor for the home is, that thing's worth about 60,000, and you're looking at it going, what? But you look at, because you don't have the big tractors on here yet. What the ones that he got, they look like this, but they're the newer ones, and I can tell you they're not 420,000. They're more. Next question. Oh yes, that's the 8RX one. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, there we go. 11,000 in leasing cost. Woohoo! Glad I paid that bill. Oh, you know what's really gonna suck? I still have 900,000 of debt. I mean, we paid off a lot. We're still 400,000 in debt, but I mean, in a relative grand sense of things, we're doing all right. We're surviving. I think we're surviving. Might be questionable, but I think we're doing all right. I mean, we had to buy land to finish off the potato contract, because in the end, my field, which is 38, wasn't enough. We had to contract. Cool, yeah. Then I used another contract to try to finish that one. That didn't work at all. If I didn't buy that field of potatoes, we'd be still waiting another year for it. I couldn't do it. It's like, no, we'll buy the field. Could I sell the field now? Yeah, could. I need the land though. So we'll do that one in cotton. That'll help out our productions and stuff. So in the end, it still works out. I am not going to make it to the end of the field before this thing's full, am I? We Like it's we've been streaming now for better part of an hour and a half again. We're not getting this field done tonight, but we've made a pretty good dent in her. We have indeed. Indubitably. Yep, there we go. We're full. Alright. I'll do this. This would be half sight easier. He is still on. Okay. I almost prefer the tracked unit for the cart. But I don't know. We've had this discussion before. I don't know what's actually considered right in that regards, because I'm still in favor of wheeled units. But again, it depends on your soil. If your soil is gumbo, tracked units are typically a little bit better. But if you have soft, sandy soil or harder soil, tracked units are better by far, because they're putting less compaction in it. But again, it's sort of no idea. I don't really know if there is a right or wrong. Again, I think that's sort of one of those categories if it falls under personal preference. It's like the truck. Well, we're going to have 40,000 in this one, so we might as well haul another truckload up, which will be good. Well, we didn't hit max. Although this cart probably, with canola, we could probably do about 80%. Frick, it's blight. It's blight out there. I talk good English. I gotta finish off the estimate later too. I'm working on, well, price sheet. Price for material sheet. We did dump some grain into the truck, didn't we? Can't remember, but I think we did. Which one? Don't know. I do like to try them though. And it's just a sexy friggin' truck. Alright, well, this is our third truckload for the night going up. And, well, being that it's only 9:30, I think that we probably could get one more tonight, at least. That'd push us to about 4. 4 out of the 9. Then again, it depends on what it actually says for the loads. I don't know if I've ever seen a speed limit sign on here. As a sign pops up, don't do the speeds that Big North does. Here, that's a wicked label. Maybe it does. I'll have to check that out doing it on the way back. Maybe it only says 60 and I'm doing 120. I do find myself using these trucks a lot more than the other one. Like, it doesn't seem The Super Beast had always felt like it was a hardship to go further. That's why we dropped it off at the grain leg and then trucked it further. This one, it feels like it's not really a hardship to drive the extra little bit right away and just drop it off. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to this one either. A little bit of a hop there. Alright, where are we sitting? Better question while the truck's offloading here. Is this one that we could? Actually, the oil bill's only 80,000. Then we could. Well, if anything else, we could keep the name out of it and just call it the C crushing plant. There's 27. So 32% maybe? I'd be happy with 32%. It wouldn't matter if I owned all the businesses anyways. Yep, actually 33%. We hold 33%. You notice I didn't buy it. Why didn't I buy it? Because by the end of the night I hate to imagine what the loan payment is. Oh, sad when you have to go further in debt to pay off the debt. That makes sense. This thing still has a girly horn. Oh, there's a speed limit sign. Yeah, 50. I'm doing 70 kilometers and over. And over? And over. I'm doing 70 kilometers and over. Don't ask me what a Nova is. It's like a numpty. No idea. Well, we got one oil well that's actually producing oil right there, but I'm still kind of contemplating. I cannot talk tonight. I'm really seriously contemplating doing those generators. And simply put, is $80,000, but it's, what the hell is it, like 9-10 grand a month in straight revenues. Well, no, I don't think it's that much. I think what was going to take 20 months for it to pay off, so that would be 4,400. I guess I could probably look real quick. Okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? Production generators. 4,800. Of course, that's 67, but who the hell wants to go around that stupid thing? That's bad enough. I mean, oil's where it's at, man. That's one thing I've never figured out. Everyone says, oh, well, you can deplete oil. Really? I highly doubt that little tiny organisms were what produced oil. And I say that because if that's the case, they've now said there potentially could be oil on the moon. Does that mean there's been billions of little plankton on the moon? Because I question that one. That last little stretch was 20%. Well, this actually isn't bad. We're actually chewing through the ground pretty good here. How much is the contract done now? I'm willing to bet we're over 30, 35. That's actually not bad at all. 35%. Okay, we did check that, but we haven't. That's one thing, we haven't checked the numbers tonight. Cost of things. Let's stick this on here, that way we can't possibly goof this up. Let's check out numbers. Hey, wheat is actually coming up. If any of these hit 500, let's haul a truckload or two. I'd be down to hauling a truckload or two of that. Same as sorghum. If the sorghum came up to, I'd say about 625 in the grain mill, I consider getting rid of a truckload of it. What we're gonna look at now? I mean, we can take a look at eggs. Eggs are coming up at Bloomingard exports, but the market stall is still the best one, but I prefer it around 3,000. Wool, of course, spinnery is the best one. Fabric and clothes are down. Honey is coming up with the Drunken Vikings. That's a good thing. Chicken's coming up. We might want to. I wanted around 2,000, but I doubt it's going to go up that high. I think we probably should sell our chickens at about 1,900 if it goes up that high. The pork is actually any amount of pork that we get off all of that, I'd say we probably should sell it anyways at the market value, just because. Wheat beer is amazing. My honey beer's down. Strawberry beer is up 3,800. But yeah, these two are both consistent as fuck. Where are we sitting at production wise on them? Can't really do much. They're all sitting at that level. It's kind of unfortunate, but I am going to have to think about hauling probably. Well, I can use the tandem. I won't use like the big rig, but I'll use the tandem, and we should do. How much do I actually have stored? I don't have very much for frickin' barley, do I? That's a problem. I don't really have enough to really do anything too much too rapid. Wheat I can. Barley. 1,000 barley, 10,000. Yeah. Let's buy 2 of those. That'll get me up and out of space a little bit. Not much. Like, you can buy direct hits at a horrible price, but I don't want to get too low in my barley either. I was hoping to get more contracts, was really what I was trying to do, but unfortunately I didn't get any. So we desperately need to plant some barley this year, or this next season. When can we plant barley? September. Okay. Wheat in September, barley in September. Because we were going to do wheat and barley. This field, I think I probably do the barley in this one. I don't think I need wheat for another season. Unless, of course, well, shouldn't say that. Unless somehow miraculously I can afford one of these fields around here. Even maybe 36, but I mean, that's field 98 actually. 1.4 million. That's a little steep. 68 wouldn't be bad. Well, that's 68's even more. Damn. 60s out at lunch. Well, 142. It's 1 million. I mean, I could do that potentially. Not now, but I mean potentially soon. That would make a good wheat field. But again, we're thinking of sorghum and beans, which means we do need to buy a planter. Can I plant beans with my normal Borgo? Yes. So only the cotton needs a planter. I don't necessarily need to do the big giant planter either. Like even this little doohickey here that's 9, it's probably good enough for now, and it's only 89,000. So I could do that for the cotton. Actually, looking at it, yeah, it does fertilizer too. I think that would be our option. I know it's only a 9 meter. We could do massive amounts, but I think in the end we'd probably be better off if we just do cheap and smaller for that, because we're only doing small amounts for cotton and things like that. Because it entirely is going to the spinnery. As a secondary beyond the wool. I mean, the sheep are producing, and the whole reason why I got sheep is because they're easy to maintain. You need 2 main ingredients, typically. Water and grass. You have those, you're good. I wouldn't mind having a decent hay field, just for grass and stuff, because I was thinking we could, instead of baling everything all the time, we could just do the grass hauling and stuff, which we can actually, I think, with those trucks. With the trucks, where's the truck boxes? Because the truck boxes are over here. These will do grass. Actually, I think these won't do grass. These will do grass. So I could do a silage boss with these things. That also doesn't do grass. That is a lizard cart. That's actually pretty good size, but not really. That's the trailer one, but yeah, we could do one of these guys and do it for silage. They basically do everything. even snow. So we could have a silage boss with everything and haul it to a bin and do it that way. I was gonna say, I think I hear him. Yeah, he's getting closer. We're getting a lot off. Close Bob is... He's got 729, that's not bad. The other thing I was going to take a look at is my honey full? Nope. Honey is not full. Chickies haven't produced any eggs because, of course, they're mostly young ones. What do we got over here? One pallet starting. Being that we have it in slow mode while we're combining and doing all the stuff, yeah, I understand. We only have one wool. One wool. These guys are doing good on their foods, so that's not bad. And like I said, we have bales and stuff too. I have one egg that's in the wrong spot. Okay. %40 of this contract we've done. That's not bad. Not bad for one night, really. We still got 20 minutes to stream. But yeah, in one night we've polished off 40% of the field. We got our outside rounds done. We've got back and forth a few times now. Strawberries. These, we're now storing the diesel again, but we're going to, and we thought about this last time, we're going to change these to sell. We're just going to do straight selling on all of this stuff. It's fun to do it, but at the same time, it's just better to sell the stuff. Sell it at market value and see what we get. When we have more time to play with it, maybe. I think technically I'm actually still going faster. There we go. Not too far out of his path. There we go. Now he's gonna stop because I'm driving over his freaking line. Well, if we get about 40,000, we can bugger off again. Wandering out of the line again. No, he is moving faster. He's doing 10. No, he's doing something in between 9 and 10. Alright. I should hold them over for a little bit. Okay, that stuff's all selling. We have more expenses coming out. Yeah, the 872 for land purchase was insane. We did sell the friggin' vehicles after the leasing cost on them for the new vehicles, so it actually worked out in the end anyways. For that, vehicle running costs are way astronomical. Vehicle leasing costs are something insane. They're at $269 right now. It's probably the friggin' combine. Production costs are actually down at the moment. Well, it's only the first day. It's probably going to be higher. We didn't sell any bales. We sold some products, only 19,000. Thankfully, and my contract is way higher. So on the plus side, we are actually doing better. We did a lot better this time. It's just the massive initial cost was way higher. Oh, is he coming back already, or is it? I can't tell if he's going or coming. Going. Is he coming or going? Is he going or coming? We can't tell. Yeah, he's going. It's not bad though. We're not out. Like I said, we complain about it, but we're not doing too bad. We're surviving. It's just like real life. We're not making big money, but we're steady. In the end, that's the only thing that matters. Oh yeah, that's rocks. I hate rocks. Well, when farming anyways, I hate rocks. Oh yeah, this is bad placement. I'm swimming in canola. Now he's coming back. Yeah. I do know the cousins are planting more mustard this year. Brown mustard. I think it's brown mustard. I could be wrong. Gonna do a lot of that. There's a bit of canola. Tons of malt barley. Some oats actually this year. They're going back and using a bunch more oats again. I think he said he's doing some soy. Not very bloody much. He's doing quite a bit of peas, but he has really good luck with peas. Or I should say, he has really good markets for the peas. And the peas that he does do is it's all part of hog feed. I think it's hogs. Again, I could be wrong. Bad information. Well, the fact is, I don't actually honestly know all the details. I know what he's doing. I figured he'd be full before we get to the end. See if we can offload him on the run again. Shouldn't do it in the field, I know, but we're going to. I need to get past the header with the tractor. There we go. I have no guidelines to go by here. We're upping our efficiency. It's definitely 10 is too fast, 9 is too slow. Oh, I'm at my max. We found max. Turns out he's in the combine hopper. Alright, well, that should help him get to the end of the field at least. And then once he turns around, we'll offload him again. And he should be good for a while, and then I can go truck. That's my plan. That's my plan. Next cart. I did think about buying another one, but I figured with everything the way it was best not to overspend, because we know that we went from basically 300,000 debt to 1.6. We're just down to 900 now, but in theory we still have $900,000 debt. Just because it's nice having the equipment doesn't mean that you can actually afford the equipment. Definitely not bad. Oh, we did offload him. Yeah, he's going slow. That's not entirely bad. Alright, shall we get out of Dodge? I have no idea what's going to happen when August 2nd rolls around. It's going to be brutal. I just hope I have enough to offset everything. It's what you get when you're playing basically harder modes. I mean, it's close to the reality, isn't it? And then again, I could be overthinking this and thinking it's really bad when it isn't. I tend to do that in reality anyways. I tend to overthink it and go, okay, well, this is the worst possibility humanly possible. And then you get through it and it's like, oh, well, actually, that wasn't bad. It's been an interesting week. But I mean, it's the way the cookie crumbles actually worked out in the end. I love Jake's. Jake's brakes. Sure does stop the truck in a hurry, I can tell you that much for fucking free. Alright. Dumping canola. So we hauled 33, so this should work out to being 44%. 44% hauled is pretty decent. And yeah, after this one. After this one, I will start looking at mods again. But in the meantime, we're also going to be still doing Grand Theft Auto tomorrow night. Maybe War Thunder Friday, maybe not. We'll see. It might be Baldur's Gate. It's going 38%. What the hell? That's a far cry from 44. What the fuck is happening with this? I don't know. Maybe the back card needs to be dumped yet. Getting to that point at night where you're going, and not really remembering what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, it is close to 10 o'clock. What more do you want? Well, what more do you really want? Hey, 50%. Yeah, that's much better. We did finish 50% of the contract, and 44% of it hold. Yeah, the back box is even down before we're hightailing her down the road. Might be Baldur's Gate. We shall see. Probably do Satisfactory again on the weekend. We're getting there. We actually got the bulk of the power plant up and running for Satisfactory, which is pretty cool. We got lots of work to do. I mean, tons of work to do. We did find 2 veins of sulfur. Now we just need to find some silica. And I think there's another vein of silica not that far away that we should take a look at. That guy did not slow down for that other guy. Holy crap. Nope, he's nearly full. Yeah, I know. I cut that bumper close. I tell you. It stops it. Like, you don't need any brakes. You just immediately stop. I did have to park my tractor. I parked my tractor too far out. It's way over here. The tractor. Yep. Because it's a U instead of an A. Oh, he is full. That's alright. I'm close. Yeah, I'm happy. We got a lot of this field off. I'd probably say, I wouldn't quite say 50%, but a good 35-40. I know the contract's 50% done. And the field isn't off that far. It's just because I'm hauling it at the same time. I didn't mean to cuddle up the combine that much. Oh, but it is good to get one of these contracts done. Well, we're at 23. We're not going to make it 24 tonight. That might be a good thing. It's kind of scary to think about. Animals are all still doing good, so I'm happy on that. We all have good food. Wheat and everything's coming up nice. Still kind of upset about my eggs. Bloomingard exports, that's really kind of a shit number. North Market's not much better. Market stall, not bad. Well, it ain't, what was it, 46,000? It ain't 46,000, but we'll dump her in the truck anyways. Well, mind you, we did 2 outside rounds. That accounts usually for 20% of the field, no matter what you do. We did get another full truckload done tonight, so we got 4 out of the 9 done. Oh, you're not there yet. Alright. The 5th load will be naturally 55%, so we're over 50. But still got a couple things to do, and I'm wearing down for the night, so I think that might be it for me tonight. Might look at picking this up again Saturday. We'll see. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed. And I'm out for the night, so if you are new here or you've been around for a while and haven't hit that subscribe button, think about hitting the subscribe button. And you can, of course, do that below the video. Or the house girl in the bottom right is seriously thinking of using a scythe against the canola, so smack some sense into him, hit that button, it'll go away. And of course, the likes, the share, the alert bell, and of course, check out the description. We got loads of things to click and push in there, and yeah, it's always good if you check it out. And yeah, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see everyone on the next one. Take care.